Hi everyone, it's Agnieszka from 5-Minute Language. Welcome to my channel. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. So today's video is about how to learn a foreign language for free. And I know it's a question that many of you are asking because obviously there are lots of resources out there and you want to make sure that you are not investing money where you don't have to invest money. And it is perfectly possible to actually learn languages for free, especially at the start when you're only just starting out. It depends on your learning style and your personality. Some people prefer to invest in language learning courses or lessons. I've also got a video about a similar topic, which is it worth spending money on language learning resources or courses? I'm going to link it, so make sure you check it out as well. But let's get into my tips on how to learn languages for free. Ready? Let's get started. So I'm going to start with complete beginners. So imagine you're just starting out and you want to learn a language. The two apps that I would definitely recommend, and yes, they are apps and they are free, or at least one of them has a free version and a premium version, but you can actually use it for free as well. So the first one is Duolingo. You guessed it right. I've also got a video about the kind of advantages and disadvantages of Duolingo, so make sure you check it out as well. But Duolingo is basically great for getting the basics right, so understanding how the language works, how to make a basic sentence, learn some basic vocabulary, learn some basic grammar. It's really, really good for that, and I would definitely recommend it as the first step when you're learning any language as a beginner. The second app I mentioned, which has a free version and a premium version, is Memrise. So Memrise, in my opinion, is great for developing your vocabulary, building your vocabulary from scratch, especially if you're learning a language that's very, very different to your native language or any other language you know. I've used Memrise for Japanese and I think it's brilliant. So start with Duolingo and Memrise. The next tip I'm going to give you for learning languages for free is developing your vocabulary, and this is definitely something you can do by yourself for free. There's no reason why you would want to pay for it. Of course, there might be some courses and resources that will teach you how to learn vocabulary effectively, such as a course I've got in my school actually. I'm going to link it down below. It's called the Vocab Club and it teaches you all the different techniques that you need to learn vocabulary effectively and not forget it, because that's crucial. But anyway, so when you're developing your vocabulary, it's good to start with frequency lists. So a frequency list is basically a list of words that come up very frequently in the language you're learning. So you want to be learning those words that you're likely to use very often when you're having conversations. So look up a frequency list for verbs or adjectives or nouns in the language you're learning, and then go through it and learn them, memorize them. But when you're learning those words, make sure that you're always looking up examples of sentences, real sentences in dictionaries, because that will help you understand how these words are actually used in context, and it will help you memorize them more effectively. My next tip for learning languages for free is reading children's short stories, and this is something that you can definitely find online for free. Just Google it, short stories for children in Spanish, French, Japanese, whatever language you're learning, you will find something online. And children's stories are really great because they contain very simple language structures, simple grammar often, and they are really a great resource to start with. And then you also need to be practicing your listening, but when you're a beginner or when you're not very advanced, it can be a bit overwhelming. So I'm not going to recommend that you watch YouTube or Netflix straight away. I would recommend that you start with podcasts. And there is one podcast which I find particularly useful. It's the Language Pod 101 podcast series. So for example, I used to listen to the Japanese 101 the Japanese Pod 101 podcast, I think that's what it's called. You can just search for it in the podcast, whatever podcast tool you're using. They're great because they are quite basic. So as you develop your vocabulary, you will be able to understand more and more. Once you've got enough vocabulary, you will be able to start reading more complex texts, and I definitely recommend that your learning is, if you're learning for free, that is reading based. So you can use news stories and blogs that you find online. Find something that you're really interested in. Don't read something just because it's written in the language you're learning. Actually find something that you find interesting. If you're interested in fashion, find a fashion blog and read that. So I recommend that you basically read and focus on the grammar, focus on the different structures, memorize them, memorize the words that you don't know, and this will actually give you a lot. And then once you've developed your vocabulary a little bit more, then you can move on to things like watching YouTube and Netflix with subtitles or without. It's good to watch with subtitles in the language you're learning, just to kind of see how things are written when they're spoken. So yeah, obviously Netflix is not free, but YouTube is. So that's definitely a great resource. And then when it comes to speaking, there are a number of different ways in which you can do that for free as well, without traveling and without paying for any kind of language tuition. So there's italki, obviously. I'm going to link that in the description box as well. It's a platform where you can find people to speak to, so to organize language exchanges, and a lot of it is actually free. So that's great. You can also try to join some kind of Facebook group or a local group where you live and try to find a language conversation partner that way. So there are a number of different ways in which you can learn languages for free. Ask me any questions you have in the comments below, and let me know if you have any other tips for other people on how to learn languages for free. So this is it. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!